do this kind of arrangement in their states with collaboration of the security agencies, the military, and so on and so forth. So it should be a collective effort. If you deal with the problem here and you don't deal with the other side, they will run from one end to the other. So, Mr. President, it's something that is doable. We should do it so that we can secure our country. I say so, Mr. President.
The Leader of the Senate.
Thank you, Mr. President, and very distinguished senators of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. Mr. President, there comes a time in the life of every nation, organization, or individual when you come to a decision that first you recognize that this is a turning point, and two, that it must not be business as usual. Mr. President, the events of the last 2 weeks in our country with respect to insecurity have further shown that on both sides something needs to be done. On the side of government, we have seen increased efforts at trying to combat these insecurity challenges headlong, while on the part of the Nigerian people, we have also seen concerned positions. We have seen frustration. We have seen well-founded fear that unless something is done urgently, we may be losing it as a nation. Yet we must not. Mr. President, as a parliament, we are not unaware of the efforts of the federal government in moving so swiftly to secure the lives of those who were kidnapped. In fact, we have witnessed an unusual situation at the level of recovery. While those were happening, we're also being told of different narratives. But what is important is that a lot of people kidnapped, at least from Kwara through Kebbi to Niger, a lot of them have regained their freedom. At what cost is what a lot of Nigerians are wondering. Some Nigerians have said government negotiated to get them out. Those are facts that only the people in charge of our security can be able to confirm. But one thing that we have also witnessed and recognized as an official position of government is that government has not been paying ransom. What is good news about this, that no one can run away from, is the fact that these people regain their freedom without a life being lost. However, while Nigerians are celebrating the fact that no life was lost on the side of those who were kept in captivity and who regained their freedom, Nigerians are not smiling at the fact that they did not read or hear about lives being lost on the part of those who took them into captivity. In other words, some Nigerians have argued, show us that a bullet was shot to regain this freedom. But we are not insisting on one style or approach. Government has always said, and it is said all over the world, that you combine both kinetic and non-kinetic approaches to address this issue. But what is important today is the fact that we are not dealing with a conventional war situation. As of 2015, we had these terrorists posting their banners in certain, more than a few local government areas in our country, including the local government of the distinguished Chief Whip, Senator Mongono in Borno State. But today, it is also an achievement on the part of government that no territory in our country is under the custody or leadership or control of these terrorists. However, it does not mean that the war has ended. What we have witnessed is a shift in strategy and style. There is no army anywhere today as a standing army to be confronted by our military, positioned at one place or hoisting their flag anywhere. But they have gone underground and they are operating as cells. So what this means is that because it's no longer a conventional warfare, there's also the need for us to continue to adopt styles that will make it easier for our military to engage, these people. And I also want to appeal to our colleagues in the parliament, both at the federal level and at the state level, that this is not the time to grandstand. It's about security of lives and property. I witnessed some of the debate by some of our colleagues on the floor of the House of Representatives yesterday. And one of them was specifically calling on this National Assembly to shut down. As far as I'm concerned, a call for the National Assembly to shut itself down because of this insecurity situation is a call for abdication of our constitutional roles. We're part of this government and we did not start this problem. Both the executive arm and the legislative arm of government as it is inherited this insecurity problem. But that must not be an excuse. We must deal with the problem, and I'm happy all hands are on deck in both the executive and the legislative arm. This Senate set up an ad hoc committee on National Security Summit, partly to address some of these issues. But today, the motion raised by the deputy leader in some of the prayers also raised certain issues. Some of the issues raised will require specific investigation. Part of my own suggestion, Mr. President, will be by the time all our colleagues would have contributed and we are taking our decisions, let us engage all our security, committees, security-related committees, the Senate Committee on Defense, on Army, on Air Force, and on national security, even interior, should come to, and special duties, should come together and conduct a joint investigation into some of the issues raised in this motion. What happened in Kebbi? Was it true that soldiers were withdrawn just hours before the attack, and some other specific issues? I think they need to be looked into, they need to be investigated. However, I also feel that if we are calling on the President and Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces to rejig the security architecture of the country, which has become necessary and which a lot of Nigerians are also clamoring for, I feel that it's important in-house for us as a Senate to even look into our own arrangement. As a senator and as a principal officer, I am not impressed, for instance, with the performance of the Senate Committee on Security and Intelligence. And I feel that that's an area that we need to look into. Some of the motions that the single senators are bringing, some of the concerns being expressed by some of our colleagues, are things that I believe our Committee on Security and Intelligence could have been, on top of. So at this point, I think that should be part of our own starting point, to even look inward and see in what areas we can do the rejigging ourselves, to give us the credibility to keep calling on the executive arm of government to rejig our security architecture. I thank you so much, sir.
Distinguished Senator Mongoro.
Mr. President, distinguished senators, my name is Mohamed Tahir Monguno. I represent
Please just
Borno North.
so many people want to talk, so we just limit it to one minute. All right.
Okay. I represent Borno North Senatorial District. Mr. President, first and foremost, I wish to associate myself with the submissions made by the previous speakers, especially the one that commends Mr. President for acting swiftly that led to the immediate recovery of the kidnapped Nigerians, as opposed to the protracted and lingering approach when the ugly scenario of the kidnapping of Chibok school girls occurred that led to the fact that up to now, some of the Chibok school girls were not recovered. Mr. President needs to be commended for acting swiftly that brought about the immediate recovery of these kidnapped Nigerians. Then, Mr. President, I equally wish to commend Mr. President for ordering the withdrawal of police escort attached to BIPs. Mr. President, I also have four policemen attached to me in my house. Mr. President, as it is now, majority of our policemen are attached to BIPs, thereby depriving the Nigerian police of performing their main role of policing the country. So this order by Mr. President will go a long way in freeing the police to perform one of their primary constitutional functions of policing the country, because as it is now, even the ratio that is recommended for policing by the United Nations, we cannot meet it. Then the second one is to call upon, maybe when it comes to the prayer, I will add an additional prayer for more recruitment into the Nigerian police force, in addition to the withdrawal, because security is a primacy of governance. The social contract that the people had with the government is for the people to surrender their sovereignty to government, and in return expect that their lives and property will be protected. So that is the primacy of governance, and if we can debate this issue of security for the whole day, we are doing the right thing, because that is the essence of governance. Thank you.
Thank you for cutting it short. Distinguished Senator Wamako.
Thank you very much, Mr. President. Aliyu M. Wamako remains my name, Sotonos. Mr. President, I would like to second this motion moved by Senator Ashuru in entirety, including the praise then. When this motion cannot come at a better time than now, with challenges left and right on both sides of this nation, I think the motion is more timely and therefore deserves to be endorsed by all assembly. Mr. President, the memo has beautifully captured all the problems and challenges. But Mr. President, we are never short of such beautiful write-ups.